the angels aren't worth knowing, and we know they're all hoping they won't stay. Tell me something that you never tell. Tell me no one ever loved so well. Can anybody blame them when the devils cannot shame them by keeping all the secrets they could sell? After all, we move so fast that we could not keep the time we spent from living in the past. But if you take all the time I gave and look it in the mouth, you'll miss me on a Sunday driving south. Happy birthday to the moon. A silver candelabra light your room. The shadows dance and play there till the sun chases them away. Too jealous of your beauty to share. After all, we move so fast that we could not keep the time we spent from living in the past. But if you take all the time I gave and look it in the mouth, you'll miss me on a Sunday driving south. Driving down the road, passing Mr. Toad. I can't drive fast enough to get away from this gravity that keeps pulling me. I wanna hear that piper play on the lane and purple haze. Ken Kesey's on a busman's holiday. After all, we move so fast that we could not keep the time we spent from living in the past. But if you take all the time I gave and look it in the mouth, you'll miss me on a Sunday driving south. Oh, you'll miss me on a Sunday driving south. Oh, you'll miss me on a Sunday driving south.
It's the International Experience. My name is Buddhaman, and that was who's in the studio with us tonight, the Cherry Bluestorms. They're a British pop-influenced psych mod band from right here in Los Angeles, California. It mixes unforgettable guitar hooks with groovy vocal harmonies. Now, if you hear familiar things, you guys, it's because I stole it off all the interviews that are on the internet. So I kind of changed them around and you know, put them in my own words and their words too. The Cherry Bluestorms consist of singer, songwriter, guitarist Deborah Gee, who you lead G.
Like G Whiz.
I will never really forget that. And ex-Dickies guitarist, multi-instrumentalist, songwriter Glen Laughlin. Hi, Glen.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
All right, thanks. Yourself?
Oh, yeah, you don't have to call me Buddha Man or Alan or Sirs for old guys. I'm not an old guy yet. I might be. My grandfather lived to be 94, and he didn't consider himself old. So, man, my dad's 86, and he considers himself a kid. So, the talent and twosome share a love for 1960s guitar-based melodic rock. And I didn't introduce the drummer, the percussionist. What's your name, man?
Mark Francis White, sir.
Hi, my Francis White, sir. And Courtney over there, Malosh. Malosh? How do you say your last name?
Melosh.
I almost had it.
My cable is...
He's going to play the bells, which you scared the shit out of me a little earlier. Their new album is called Bad Penny Opera. And we got a lot in common, this guy over here. I worked at K-Rock in the 1970s, late 1970s. And I one day asked me, when did you want your show? I want my show right before Rodney Bingenheimer. So I got there on my first night, and he walked in, and he opens up his wallet, and he says, "This is me and Bowie." And he's recording Hunky Dory. And then he goes through his wallet. I'd never met the guy before. And he says, "This is me in the Monkees." he was the little guy, Mickey the little guy. What was his name? Davy Jones. He was a stand-in for Davy Jones in the Monkees. And Rodney and I have been on a search for many, many years for great bands. And he does it on K-Rock, and I do it over here now on the RDSN, on the Radio Domination streaming network. Yeah, screw with anything. I'm not like one of those guys that says you can't touch anything on the table.
Well, I can barely reach, and every time I move it, it goes out.
Before we start, I want to get the name, why you call yourselves this, because I'm a fan of where it comes from.
Oh, cool.
Yes, I am.
The name of the band, you mean?
Yeah, the name of the band, Bebop Deluxe. And Bill Nelson, who I met at K-Rock when he was on Jed the Fish's show, and I got to see them in concert. Man, I'll tell you what.
They were amazing.
Oh my God, Bill! I don't know what happened. They just kind of disappeared into the sonosphere or something.
Nelson didn't care for the whole rock machinery thing, and he had some management problems and. Even
he did?
In fact, he has a famous open letter that's maybe a couple of years old that he was writing about the fact that he hasn't seen a statement, let alone any royalties, for 30 years.
Really?
Yeah, and in fact, EMI claims that they were sending royalties, and he said, well, who are you sending them to? And he said, well, we're sending them to so-and-so. He had two guys from Cockney Rebel that were in the band briefly in the interim period, one of whom died on the Lockerbie bombing. And they were sending royalties supposedly to that guy. And Nelson said, well, it was my band. I was the leader. I wrote all the songs. I produced the albums. Why would you be sending royalties to that guy who's been dead and was barely even in the band?
Yeah.
And he never got a response. They've just ripped him off for decades.
That's what it's turned into. Robert Fripp told a similar story about Lou Reed. You know how Lou Reed got out of his RCA contract? Do you know that story?
No.
Well, when I interviewed him, it was a bunch of us in the room in 1980, and there was Fripp with his chalkboard. And I forgot so many things go through my mind. I forgot what I was going to say.
Lou Reed.
How
he got out of his deal.
Oh, how he got out of his deal. So RCA was going to sue Lou Reed, and what happened was he says, okay, I'll do 2 more albums. So he went into the studio and he put his guitar up against the Marshall amps and recorded
metal machine music.
Yeah, that's the one, man. I see it on eBay now for like $100, $200, $300, just because they stopped making it, and it was a big fuck you to RCA. And he's one of the forerunners of fuck yous to record companies.
But that was a successful one. Whereas, like, for example, one of my favorite bands, the Charlatans.
Oh yeah, I have them right here.
They owed a record to what's that label? Anyway, whatever.
One of those labels, right?
One of those labels I spaced out. But anyway, so they said, well, it's our last one. We'll just give them a crappy record. And to me, they made a crappy record. It was a bad move on their part,
Yeah, because nobody wanted to listen to it. You thought they were Lou Reed.
I mean, it wasn't good for them. It wasn't good for the label. It didn't have that cool cachet of the metal machine music.
Right.
But since then, they've continued to make good records, which is amazing for a band their age.
Yeah.
They're still making credible records. They're not always my favorite Charlatans records, but they're still very credible records.
What album is Love or Confusion from? You know that one?
I'm not sure, but
I'll
I think
play
it's
that later.
You it's across my path. I forget what that.
Well, I do that too.
I don't remember.
And you like the Stone
Roses.
Roses as well. I do
the Stone
too.
Roses.
Yeah,
Sure.
good band.
Great.
So, Deborah,
Yes.
how did you two actually collaborate and meet? How did that happen?
We met through an acquaintance who said, I was looking for a guitar player for my solo project, and he said, I know just the guy. You guys are both unique in your own way, and he plays in a bunch of different tunings. Do you mind if I talk
That's
about
great.
that?
That's great, man.
Well, the guy said he's got a hand injury and he has to do all these different tunings, but he's just amazing, you know. And so I said, okay, great. So then we were at a coffee house, and he goes, oh, you know that guy I told you about? That's him. And he's looking through the window, and he goes, waves high, you know. And then comes on in, and that's how I met him, and then the rest is kind of history.
So you got the name.
Oh, there's a Bebop Deluxe B-side called Futurist Manifesto.
Okay, we'll play that, and
there
we'll
we
be
go.
back with the Cherry Bluestorms. I told you I had surprises for you. This is Bebop Deluxe here on
Cool.
Kong. Live next.
Nevermore, days astonishing. Happening with tapes and anything 1962. Power beyond years are endings. Time most misplaced. The earth forever renders the promised mockery. Ghost and latitude, fears generated. Science as uncontrollable anxiety. Events far and implicit, most frightening ghost projections fade and never return. The earth forever renders even more than international. Perhaps inside your different events, no more years of this emphasis. Human voices, enchanting, direct purposes and artificial songs hang on your mangled tongue. Watch those royal and cherry bluestorms. The curving of time against horizontal knowledge. Curving of piano dancing. The ticking of clocks against the window. Against the window, a face invisible. Transparent. Invisible. Many dimensions, critical variations. The effect is response in from sound and the eternal method. Life doing roller coaster. But first, play awakening celebration or inspection. The beautiful stars ringing clear. Pure clarion, a port of celestial. Observatory gardens, sing yes, no more. Life and doing roller coasters. First, awakening celebration, inspection. Stars ringing clear. Life, pure clarion, a port of celestial. First, observatory gardens, sing yes, no more. Sing yes.
Now that is music, you know. And when it came out, you know, nobody in 1976, it was on an album called Modern Music, and I actually played that on my show.
Actually, it wasn't on Modern Music. It was not on an album until they did their posthumous.
Oh, is that right?
Best and Rest of
And
Bebop.
then Google is fucked up.
Yeah, they're wrong. Well, it may be an extended track on a later release.
But it's on that greatest hits thing they did
it's
from 74 to 78.
No, it's on the Best and the Rest of Bebop, which
Oh, is that right?
half unreleased tracks like Blue as a Jewel or B-sides like Shine and things.
That's what's going to happen with Bowie and Prince. All this stuff is just going to come out of the vaults.
Yeah.
You know how the Beatles are still making money and all these, and Michael Jackson. And, you know, you can be a dead rock star and still get royalties, and some of the living ones don't. That's crazy, man. That's what I think. You know, the artists should get the money. And CD Baby is a good outlet. I know you guys have your album on there because they give you some money. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not keeping it.
Yeah.
I don't know about Amazon. I don't know about the others, but, you know, I see a lot of greed and I see a lot of crap in music, you know. I mean,
Amazon keeps more.
yeah. But it's just refreshing to hear you guys, you know. Would you like to perform?
Sure.
I'm going to take a
Why,
couple
certainly.
pictures. Why, certainly. Oh, don't get me started. I think I do have some Three Stooges in here.
I love those guys.
Okay. Oh, you do? Most women don't. Kathleen, do you like the Three Stooges? What about you, Courtney?
I like you.
There came the punchline. She's my Gracie to my George.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Everything's set, and this is the Cherry Bluestorms live right here in studio.
We've been going head to toe. We had bad seeds to sow and sowed them underground. So much time, so much to know. We learned to let it go and let it go another round. Away, away you go tomorrow. You stayed a bit too long. Okay, okay, we'll have no sorrow here. You say, will I play you a song? And by your leave I will. You better believe I will. All our fears are in the past. We went from first to last and lasted out the years. Now our journey's at an end, but we can part as friends. There's no need for tears. Away, away you go tomorrow. You stayed a bit too long. Okay, okay, we'll have no sorrow here. You say, will I play you a song? And by your leave I will. You better believe I will. By your leave I will. You better believe I will. Better believe I will. Thank you.
Kathleen, wouldn't you agree with me? This is one of the best bands we've had on in a long time. Wow, you guys are amazing. I just love your sound. You know, Cyril has an ear. He was here when I was on another station about, how long ago? About eight years ago. And he did a show called Cyril's Hollywood Jukebox. And, I mean, the Dolly Rots, the Chemistry Set, I got to know who all these great bands were. And he had a stroke while he was driving in Burbank. I sent him off to St. Jude over there, and he wound up back in New Orleans. And the story, I won't tell you the in-between story, but he's very healthy now. And he goes down to what I call the Village, that's what he calls it, in the square there. And he just goes to a lot of clubs now. And I said, why don't you be the guy who gets the bands for... And he sent me like 18 at once,
Wow, that's
I mean,
wild.
dude, you're overwhelming me. I have a day job. So I listened to every single one of them, and they were all pretty good. But you guys really hit the spot,
Oh, cool.
I found all kinds of great stuff about you on the internet. You have a solo album called Portal. I wish you would have brought it. I would have played a cut off of it.
I'll send you one, though.
I'd like that.
Actually, I have one in the car.
Oh, cool.
And she has a new one that we're about halfway done with.
Excellent. That's great. And are you going to do solo or anything solo?
Eventually, yes, I will. I actually have some tracks already, but I'm concentrating on the band, and I produce other people too. So it's kind of on the back burner. But at some point I'll put out a solo record.
So you got a couple of gigs coming up, I know of. Saturday, May 14th at the Press Restaurant in Claremont, California.
Correct.
Cool. And June 4th at the Art Around Adams in San Diego, California.
Yeah, that's a festival. We've played there once before.
Oh,
It's
I
like
wanna
a street
go.
festival. It's really fun.
Yeah, San Diego's cool. I haven't been there in a long time. I won't go to SeaWorld or the zoo. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in
I'm with
holding
you.
things captive.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, they should be let loose and back to wherever they came from. I don't like zoos. I think they're horrendous. So you had another album before this called Transit of Venus.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And you were part of something which I've heard of called the International Pop Overthrow. Were there a lot of bands involved in that?
Yes, especially, they do it in different cities. David Bash, I should say, he's the main man, and he does it in several different cities. The keynote one, other than Los Angeles where it originated, is Liverpool. In Liverpool, they run it at the Cavern, which has two stages. The one that people are familiar with, the old pictures of the Beatles.
Right.
But there's a bigger stage that they built for when McCartney came back and did the Return to the Cavern.
Yeah.
So they have those two stages, and then there's a Cavern Pub, which is a different place. And there are different venues right in that street, Matthew Street, where the Cavern is. Mm-hmm. It's like more like a mews or an alley. And so at that particular one, there are lots and lots of bands, like over like 120, 130 bands.
Wow.
The one in L.A.,
That's
not
cool.
quite so many, and depends on the city. They have various amounts of bands.
It was really fun, and Francis started playing with it. He and Glen
Hi,
go way
Francis.
back.
Yeah? How far back?
In the late 80s, we were mid
War together.
yeah, at least one. In the mid to late 80s, we were in a band called the Furies.
The what?
The Furies.
The Furies.
And the Furies, before Francis and I were in the band, they were actually the first band that ever played Madame Wong's.
Wow.
And
that's where I saw Robert Fripp.
Yeah, I remember.
Downtown.
We did the Frippertronics deal.
Were you there?
No, I wasn't.
I
but
sat with the
remember
two
it, though.
Turtle guys
Oh.
because they had a show on K-Rock. So.
Yeah.
Eddie and Flo.
Yeah. Flo and Eddie.
Flo and
Flo
Eddie.
and
Yeah.
Eddie, excuse
Yeah,
me.
very cool
The
guys.
Fripp is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
he-
So
he-
you were telling.
So I was saying.
Oh, you were saying. Go
I was
ahead.
saying.
Somebody was saying.
Somebody was saying.
So that was in 2012, the last time that we were at the Cavern. But anyway, Francis came on board, thankfully, because he's an amazing drummer.
Really?
Yeah,
Cool.
very, very musical.
Can you play other instruments besides the drums?
Yes, a myriad of instruments, but mainly drums.
Cool.
I love beating drums.
All right, and you got the bells, which I had no idea. I
brought
thought
some bells. Well, they're more chimes.
well, when you brought them out, see, I have a lot of bells up there. I thought my wife had a disaster, and they all just came falling down.
Yeah, the hell's
And
bells,
that would
man.
just produce chimes?
Yeah, you're magical like
These are
that.
chimes.
Really?
I wouldn't be married to you 25 years in May 16th. I actually remember that.
Wow.
If you weren't a magical person. This is the International Experience, and here's a young lady who used to be on K-Rock.
This is the Saturday night edition of Buddhaman's International Experience.
Okay, you wanted Three Stooges. I got
We
it.
got it.
So you did a copy of a Beatles song on that album,
We
"Baby
did.
You're Rich Man." Is
Yeah,
that the
we
one?
did.
Yeah, that must have sounded cool. So I hear something in the music. Did you use an orchestra or something that sound in the studio that sounded like an orchestra? On I don't know which. I think it was.
Probably
had
Start
the-
Again.
Yeah, it
I
could be
bet.
Start Again. Well, also Sunday Driving South
Well,
has
Sunday,
Oh.
yeah.
has orchestration. Sunday Driving South has a bunch of Mellotron tracks, and then it's also got some synthetic string samples
Thank you.
and things like that. But there's no actual live orchestra. But on Start Again, we actually use live orchestral players.
So I found, "By your leave" is a great saying. I think they say it in England, in the Henry the 16th, Henry the 5th, or Henry the 6th, whatever Henry was there. "By your leave, sir." And I found the Merriam-Webster dictionary, and I'm not a writer, but I saw everything that rhymed. So I put together this little thing for you.
Oh,
It totally sucks. But it rhymes with "by your leave." "We are very appreciative of your basket weave. We disbelieve that our family would leave in a flutter sleeve that interleaves and interweaves and makes it make believe that no child would misbelieve even on one sleeve. By your leave."
wow.
I don't know. I
Right.
had an inspirational moment. I went to the local dispensary over here, and I had an idea.
Reminds me of Lord Buckley a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. It's not even close, man. My wife is the poet.
He has a very, very funny short Buckley story.
Oh, wait,
Lord
let me
Buckley
hear it.
Story.
Well, it actually comes from the liner notes of one of his records. But he had a friend who was a critic or journalist, and he went to visit Buckley, and they were walking around. Buckley lived in Echo Park, so it was a very hilly area, and they took a walk in the hills, and they were on their way back, and they looked up, and he lived up in the hills, and he had like what looks like in New York the fire escape type steps coming down the
Oh, it's
side
just,
of
you
the
see on
the hill.
every show shot in New York.
Yeah, and they're coming down the side of the hill.
Yeah.
And as they're walking back, the journalist noticed that Buckley's kids were running up and down these steps, and like one wrong move and they'd fall off the mountain.
Oh,
so,
man.
So he looks at Buckley. He says, he's about to say, "Oh my God, you're worried about your kids," and then before he could say anything, Buckley screams out, "Faster, kids, faster, faster, faster!" And the guy's like, "What?" And Buckley looks at him and says, "They're heavily insured."
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Would you like to do another song, and I'll load your
I-
CD in there? And
If you don't mind, I'd like to make a small point about "By Your Leave."
okay,
We
which is one of my favorites, by the way.
Oh well, thank you
Yeah.
very much. We are vain enough to read some of our reviews, and sometimes people get the wrong idea when they hear that song. They think that that we're a folk band or something. It's really kind of funny, and my idea to include it on the record, it's the first vocal song on the record. It comes at the end of the instrumental overture. And I was really thinking of Tommy, how there's that little instrumental kind of
God,
introduction.
I
to
almost
Tommy.
put on my Tommy shirt tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're in the same wavelength there.
I love that record, and
Yeah,
I
so
like
do
the
I.
way they do the overture, and then he does that little acoustics kind of intro to set the stage for the action of the record. And as the name implies, Bad Penny Opera is sort of a rock opera.
It is.
So
It all
that-
fits together.
That was the idea.
Yeah.
And that's the most folky song on the record, of course. Nothing else is quite like that. But the amazing journey of our record, kind of the key, where you could almost get the whole story out of one song, kind of a song, is Sunday Driving South. So, By Your Leave, we'll play that one.
By your leave.
This is nothing for a king to pay. This is nowhere if you know the way. Now the innocents are going where the angels aren't worth knowing, and we know they're all hoping they won't stay. Tell me something that you never tell. Tell me no one ever loved so well. Can anybody blame them when the devils can all shame them by keeping all the secrets they could sell? After all, we moved so fast that we could not keep the time we spent from living in the past. But if you take all the time I gave and look it in the mouth, you'll miss me on a Sunday driving south. Happy birthday to the moon. A silver candelabra lights your room. The shadows dance and play there till the sun chases them away. Too jealous of your beauty to share. After all, we moved so fast that we could not keep the time we spent from living in the past. But if you take all the time I gave and look it in the mouth, you'll miss me on a Sunday driving south. Driving down the road, passing Mr. Toad, I can't drive fast enough to get away from this gravity that keeps pulling me. I wanna hear that piper play Arnold Lane and Purple Haze, Ken Kesey's on a busman's holiday. After all, we moved so fast that we could not keep the time we spent from living in the past. But if you take all the time I gave and look it in the mouth, you'll miss me on a Sunday driving south. Oh, you'll miss me on a Sunday driving south. Yeah, you'll miss me on a Sunday driving south.
Sounds like a lot of people involved. So you, on that track, you had a guy by the name of, I hope I say his name right, Arlen Scheerbaum.
Schotterbaum. Yeah, Arlen actually plays with Joe Bonamassa now. He's a phenomenal keyboard player. And he and I were, I felt almost towards him like a brother. We were very close friends, and we shared a storage space together. He had a pretty elaborate studio, and I have a pretty elaborate studio, and we would trade gear and help each other out. And we had a bit of a falling out over this stupid storage space. And so,
really?
Yeah, and I haven't talked to him in a couple of years now. He got very strange. I think he was very stressed before he started touring with Joe, and he had just gotten married, and his wife was from Greece, and they had some immigration issues.
Oh.
And I think he was just at a very stressed point in his life, but it made it very difficult to communicate with him. And so we kind of had a falling out, and I guess we're not friends anymore. I don't know, but he was a phenomenal.
Yeah, you'll see the guy somewhere. Hey,
yeah, probably.
Like, what were we fighting about? Doesn't that happen all the time? You fight with somebody, and years later, you see that person, you forgot what you were mad at them about.
Yeah, that's happened to me. I mean, I wouldn't even say I'm not even really mad at him, and I don't know that he has any real reason to be mad at me. But we just kind of had an impasse or whatever, where we couldn't really communicate. So we kind of fell apart, but if I saw him, I'd be happy to see him.
I'm trying to pull up the album here. I have so many things open at once. I had this computer especially built so I can open up 50 web pages and many other things. I have Deborah's solo album here, which actually came up with the picture and everything on one of the things that actually works from Microsoft, the Windows media player. So we're going to play a tune off of this.
Great.
Right away, I see the word naked. What else does a guy see? So we're going to play that, and it's from your album, huh? It's called Portal. And who mastered this for you? Let's give a kudos to the person who mastered it.
Thank you. It was a guy named David Donnelly who used to be over at Geffen Records.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think are you asking really about who mixed it?
Mixed it and mastered it.
Oh, well, depending on the tune, but Michael Woodrum mixed. Alan Myers from Devo was my drummer for 3 years, so he's on some of the tracks. Not all of them, but some of them.
I had a tribute band, a secret agent band.
Oh.
They were great. They sounded exactly like Devo. It was a trip.
Cool.
So they came here, and they're like the family. The dad is the drummer, and the brother and the sister, and they're in the Devo thing, and they have a lot of fun doing it. One of the bands that Jed the Fish, actually put out there. I put out Oingo Boingo, and he put out Devo. Yeah, I've discovered their demo tape at 3 a.m. at K-Rock in a pile of shit that was being thrown out. Oh. And I took it out of there. It said Oingo Boingo, Mystic Nights of the Oingo Boingo. I took it out of there. And I said to Daryl, "Oh, they're shit, man. You didn't even listen to it." So I went on the air, and I put them in, and I played I Wish We Could All Be California Girls from Danny and the Gang, and I called them, and they came down to K-Rock, and I did the first interview. I always brag and pat myself on the back.
That's cool.
And Johnny and Danny had been fighting for years. They were very bummed about it. They got together after Freddie, who was in the Youth Symphony. He's the bass player. He's Johnny Vato's son. He was playing in the orchestra at Disney and Danny Elfman was the conductor, the music of Danny Elfman. So they couldn't be enemies anymore if his son is in the orchestra, right? So they got together and said, let's fuck the lawyers and see what happened. A judge looked down at them and said, I'm sick of you two. Okay, Johnny, you keep Boingo. And you, Danny, you keep Oingo. And finally, Danny gave it up and gave it back to Johnny.
Oh, wow.
Just a few months ago, this happened. So they had a big thing downtown 2 weeks ago. It was Oingo Boingo Day on 420.
Well, I think
the mayor is smoking in the room. I'm telling you, and the council.
You don't know that for a fact, Bobby. You better stop making rumors.
The mayor might be smoking in the back room if they let Oingo Boingo. They let the whole band. They were all loaded in city council, and they all went in city council. The Oingo Boingo went in the realms of City Hall and played Dead Man's Party.
Wow.
The whole band just was there. Johnny bought a little drum set, and they gave him a big thing saying, "This is Oingo Boingo Day from now on." And Danny wasn't going to come. He didn't want any part of that for some reason. So would you like to do another tune? I want to hear those bells.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sure the mayor's listening.
So
I'm sure that motherfucker's listening.
as above, so below.
Or we can do Brighter Days. Either one.
Oh, that's right. Brighter Days.
Can we do Brighter Days? Okay.
Yeah, let me grab
And then we'll play one of your solo songs from your
Okay,
album.
cool.
Okay. Naked.
All right.
Can barely see here. Close enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Francis, you want to try to do
Like I know.
That's a little out of tune still.
Whoops. Gotta love those capos.
Gonna think about tomorrow and forget about today. Gonna leave behind my sorrow. Brighter days ahead, they say. Never thought I would go hungry.
Never knew I'd be so cold. Better let it be what must be. Brighter days I told. Let it out, let it in. I'm mad about the lovers, cause they feel no pain as they hold on to each other. I'm mad about the moon and the stars and the sun shining brighter days. Gonna think about the future and forget about the past. Cause we may not live forever, but we sure can get there fast. Gonna raise a glass to Ezra, cause we all made our mistakes, but he paid the price and then some, and it makes my poor heart ache. Let it out, let it in. I'm mad about the lovers, cause they feel no pain as they hold on to each other. I'm mad about the moon and the stars and the sun shining brighter days. I'm mad about the moon and the stars and the sun shining brighter days. Here they come. I'm mad about the moon and the stars and the sun shining brighter days. I'm mad about the moon and the stars and the sun shining brighter days. Brighter days.
Thank you for that. I love the bells. You just listen to that all. Can you do that again, man? It's like,
Yeah, I'll give you the extra.
yeah, bitchin', groovy. Oh man, that could be music on its own in a Tibetan temple.
A bit of fairy dust.
Imagine in the last 7 years, I've had over 800 musicians and bands in this room, and all the energy that's compacted in here. Because when no one's here, and I work here during the day, I do sports radio all week long, you know.
Uh-huh.
I'm the guy pressing the buttons, and I listen to a lot of music, you know, when I'm doing that. So I hope my boss didn't hear me say that. So I'm going to use somebody else's interview here. I found a website with you, Deborah, on it, just called Music We Trust. And we're going to play a selection from that's what they say on KUSC, from your album Portal. I'll ask what this guy asked. How did you come to the realization that there was a portal? He didn't ask that. I'm putting it in my. You think there's portals to other dimensions and other places besides this one?
Well, I wonder. I don't really know, but
yeah, the wonderment of it.
When I got the way I came up with the title is I was just thinking about what do I want to call this record, and I feel like it's a very personal record. It's really a portal into me, and so that's where it got the title. One night I was just laying there, and all of a sudden that little voice inside said,
"What song would you what song would you pick off of this to play? What would you like me to play off of it?
It's hard. I mean, Naked is in the third person, but Say What You Mean is really catchy, and then I've had Pearl placed in 2 films. Say What You Mean has been placed also. But
oh, no. No, what do I do?
I like Say What You Mean, personally.
Yeah, that's Glen's favorite one.
Okay, I'll go back to that. Here it is. Play What You Mean from Portal.
Say What You Mean.
Say What You Mean. You see what I mean? There it is. It's the International Experience with Cherry Bluestorms in the studio. Hey. It's live radio. Really?
It's the very first one.
Okay.
Say What You Mean is the first one.
What was I playing?
You played Just a Kiss Away.
Let's try this. Is that it? Thank goodness. You got to buy the CD to hear the rest of that song.
Delicate haze hung over me as I woke from another dream. Every nerve in my body felt like a strained harp string. And the message I got was to have the courage to change. Veiled ghosts hurry past me. Can I put them to rest? Saying things we wish we hadn't. Truth is like an avalanche. Say what you mean what you say. Don't say it mean, don't be afraid. Say what you mean what you say. What do you mean? What do you I don't want to read between the lines. I stand guard in my mind. I know I'll survive such torments of grief we endure over a tongue without cure. The sealed walls that surround you, you think for protection. The tangled tongue that twists into such destruction. Say what you mean what you say. Don't say it mean, don't be afraid. Say what you mean what you say.
international experience.
I was in a mood that day when I produced that one. Let's use some Monty Python music. We'll rip it up. They don't mind the 30 seconds. Lovely is the word that comes to mind on that. Just beautiful. What was that I was hearing? A flute or a recorder or another voice? I could hear it in the background. I'm deaf in this ear. Very good. With the headphones, I hear everything.
Well, my voice got doubled on that, but I mean, I don't know if that's what you mean.
No, there was an actual, like a recorder, like the sound of a recorder, or, I heard it. It was in there. Like, I heard something like a breath. I guess you're going to have to go back and listen to your own album, because
right.
I heard it.
I can tell you that Alan played the tablas all the way through.
I heard that. And do you play sitar? You ever try that?
I've tried it, but with the way my hand is now, it's pretty much impossible.
What happened?
Volvo station wagon landed upside down on my hand.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Pretty much took out all my fingers.
Wow.
Except for my thumb.
But you play pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Now, how long ago did that happen?
1984.
I hear a beeping.
Yeah,
Yes.
What the hell is it?
Oh, Kathleen, I think you started the apartment on fire.
It does smell like it a little bit.
Cookies
a
are
wee
ready.
bit.
The cookies are ready, honey. It's live radio.
Understand that. Thank you.
I wouldn't hear that if I didn't have the headphones on.
Yeah, okay.
I use one of these. I thank God for Obamacare. $1,500 for that.
Wow.
Can you believe that? A little tiny thing like that, but God bless that I can use that.
That's great.
So that's driving me crazy upstairs. Can you
Crazy.
go? Yeah, I know.
I can't make it go away, so you can kill yourself if you want.
I'll have to do it
That
myself.
works.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It'll go off eventually. Never.
In a minute, it'll go off.
I'll get up and do it.
It's
In a
smoke
minute.
alarm, I see.
I should play one of your songs and go turn that damn thing off. I'm going to play Start Again.
Cool.
How's that
Cool.
sound? While I go
Great.
turn the damn thing off. We'll be back.
Is there nothing sacred anymore? No one knows what to use a bad penny for. Open glories past now fade away. Now everyone is saying grace, but I can't trace them. Let it all in, let it out again, let it in your heart. Then you can start to let it all in, let it in and out. Never have to doubt if you have the heart to start again. Have you seen the worm that stands to crawl? Have you seen him stoop to conquer all? With a mind of doubt and a heart of shame. Now everyone is saying grace, but I can't trace them. Let it all in, let it out again, let it in your heart. When you start to let it all in, let it in and out. Never have to doubt
could smile for a while. But I saw you last night, you held my hand so tight as you stopped to say hello.